Here's a reason you feel dead inside when you stop creating. There's a reason you spiral, when the camera gathers dust, when the pen lies still, when the ideas stay locked in your mind. It's not laziness. It's not distraction. It's a deeper kind of death. Because creation is not optional for the creative soul, it is the only antidote to spiritual decay. Carl Jung once said, "Only the paradox comes anywhere near to comprehending the fullness of life." Carl Jung once said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." And creation is the greatest paradox of all. It is both terrifying and liberating, divine and human, messy and sacred. You were not meant to consume endlessly. You were not meant to simply exist, survive, pay bills, and die quietly in comfort. You were meant to birth something out of nothing, to bring form to chaos, to give voice to what others are too afraid to say. Let's begin with what happens when you don't create, the creative death spiral. At first, you just feel dull, restless. Then you begin to overthink. You scroll, you compare, you spiral. Eventually, you begin to shrink. You question your worth. You numb out. That is not laziness. That is what Carl Jung would call psychic fragmentation, a soul that is split from its own potential. Jung believed that within each person lies an unlived life. 2. The curse of hyperawareness. He said, "Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment and especially on their children than the unlived life of the parent. For the creative mind, the shadow is louder. But I'd go further. Nothing rots the soul faster than an unlived creative life. You know this. You felt it. When you betray your gift, it haunts you. You must create like your life depends on it, because it actually does. Not your physical life, perhaps, but your emotional, spiritual, and intellectual life, the things that give life its color." Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That's why so many creatives suffer from insomnia, anxiety, burnout, mood swings. Your why is not found in a job description, not in money, not in fame. Your why is your ability to take what's invisible inside you and make it visible to the world. Whether that's a photograph, a film, a poem, a sketch, a brand. To not create is to live amputated from your true self. To live reacting instead of designing. To be a shadow of what you could have been, had you only had the courage to get started. Creation is self-discovery. To create is not to show the world who you are, it's to find out who you could be. Think of it like this. When a sculptor carves a statue, they remove everything that isn't part of the figure. Likewise, when you create consistently, you slowly remove everything that isn't you. Every shot you take, every paragraph you write, every sketch you sketch, is not just a product. It's a mirror. Your style evolves. Your voice sharpens. Your eye becomes clearer. You start to recognize your patterns, your themes, your fears, your desires. This is what the Greeks meant by know thyself. You're brilliant, but broke. And this is the work most people are too afraid to do, because it's not glamorous. It's brutal. The shadow, resistance, and amp, the war within. Jung called it the shadow, the repressed, unconscious parts of ourselves we don't want to face. For creatives, the shadow shows up in procrastination, perfectionism, envy, and imposter syndrome. You delay starting because deep down you're afraid the world will confirm your worst fear, that maybe you're not good enough. Stephen Pressfield called it the resistance. That's arrested development disguised as authenticity. That invisible force that shows up every single time you sit down to do the real work. It whispers lies. Not today. You build a lighthouse inside of it. You're tired. The fire and the focus. This isn't original. You stop seeing peace as the enemy of your creativity. No one cares. That means. But here's the truth. The resistance is the compass. Wherever it screams the loudest, that's where your growth lives. Run toward it, not away from it. What happens when you show up? When you fight through the fog, something sacred happens. You stop creating for validation and start creating from alignment. You stop asking, will they like this? And start asking, does this feel true? 6. Final thoughts. Your mind is a battlefield and a blessing. You begin to reclaim your energy. Your mood lifts. You walk differently. You speak with more conviction. That's not coincidence. Creating consistently rewires your identity. You go from a consumer of culture to a creator of culture. From one who waits for opportunity to one who builds it. 6. Creativity is service. And eventually, something even greater happens. You realize it was never about you. Your work becomes medicine for someone else. Your video inspires a college kid to pick up a camera. Your story makes someone feel seen. Your photo unlocks a memory for a stranger who hadn't cried in years. As Viktor Frankl said, "What is to give light must endure burning." Why you sabotage your own projects? Your art is the light. But you must endure the burn, the fear, the discipline, the repetition, to give it freely. Final thoughts: burn or bloom. You have two options. You either let the fire inside you burn you from within, or you turn it outward and let it become light. You either die with ideas you never brought to life, or you die creating, knowing you left a piece of yourself behind that might outlive you. Create like your life depends on it, because the version of you who is fully alive, fully expressed, fully dangerous and divine, only exists on the other side of the work. The world does not need more talented people. It needs more courageous creators, people like you. We're done waiting. Pick up the pen. Hit record. Start the sketch. Say the truth. Create or decay. The choice has always been yours.